Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So today we are launching a new massive build which is going to be only done in 10 episodes, and I'm intentionally making it very short because most people have been asking me how many episodes are remaining, how long will it take to finish it. So in all the upcoming builds, I'll be coming up with a number of episodes that is going to be in that build, and we're going to work around the clock to make sure that it ends in those builds. And in today's episode is going to mark episode 0. It's not going to be having any coding, is only explaining these 4 concepts: what we are going to be building, how are we building it, and who is this for, and what costs are going to be involved. So without further ado, let's jump in and get started. So this build, as you said, this is going to be like an intro episode explaining these 4 things, and then in our first episode is where we're going to first start with coding. But let's start with the first question: what are we building? So to answer this question of what are we building, we're going to build something that has been so massively requested, and most people in my inbox and most people are looking for this product. Like I built this, if you remember 1 year ago, you can see this video here. I built an inventory management software, and this was nicely done. We did it in about 16 episodes, and there were a lot of things that were missing. People were calling me all the time asking for more features. We need more features, we need more features, we need more features. They were requesting for more and more and more. Now, so there are a lot of things that were done in that video, so in that series, and the project was nice. We are cloning Zoho Inventory Management System. So after a long time, people have been requesting for this, and people have bought this source code before. I've been requesting for this massive build. So we're just like revamping it because it had a lot of drawbacks. First of all, it was in JavaScript, it was not in TypeScript. So, and the way we had built it, so in this build is going to be really massively improved. Is going to be a whole different product altogether. We are going to improve the UI, we're going to improve the functionalities, like we're going to double and increase the functionalities. And we're going to still use the Zoho design because I find it really intuitive, and also to match those ones who had built the code before, who had bought the source code before. We're just going to maintain almost the same design. It's not to be exact, but just going to improve it and make it much better. Now, most people, what I identified from what people, because before I made this episode, I'd gathered a lot of information from the WhatsApp group where we have about 400 plus people in that group, and those people were explaining and they were contributing on which features and everything they need in that application. And with my own research, most people doesn't know what inventory management system is. People are asking to include in human resource management system, including payroll, including this. So basically, if you start like building a software like that, you may find that you have like 1,000 modules, which is for the whole entire business. And if you target everyone, you might not end up targeting anyone. So this prompted me to actually first research a lot about the inventory management system. So even in today's episode, I'm just going to explain in details what we are building. And I've already briefly told you we are building an inventory management system, but to understand it really more, I made this documentation. You're going to find it in the description. Just click on the link, you will find this documentation. It is on Notion and it is public. You're going to find this. This documentation is going to be having a lot of things explaining how we are building and everything. But let's start with what is inventory management system. An inventory management system is a software that helps businesses track, organize, and manage their products and supplies. As you can see, in simple terms, that's what it is. It allows companies to keep accurate records of what items they have in stock, where those items are located, how many are available, and when they need to order more. Its core inventory management, at its core, an inventory management system helped answer basic questions like, for instance, what products do we have? How many each item do we have? What are these items? Where are these items located? When do we need to reorder the new items? Which items are selling quickly or slowly? So the system typically handles functions such as tracking stock levels, processing purchase orders, sale orders, managing suppliers, customers, generating reports that help businesses make smarter decisions about their inventory. For businesses of all sizes, from small shops to large warehouses, it's an essential tool for reducing costs, preventing stockouts, and improving overall efficiency. I try to get this sort of version so that you understand straight away what an inventory management is. So when you start adding in things like payroll, or you add in like a human resource management system within the inventory management system, it becomes bulky with a lot of features that people are not interested in. And down here, I actually put 2 case studies that are perfect clients for inventory management system. In fact, this is really important, and I think before you build any software in any way, whether it is inventory, whether it is any software that you're going to work on, this kind of documentation is very important to identify the perfect client for your system, so that you do not hallucinate and start adding features that do not really resonate with your clients. Okay, so I went ahead and I did a case study for 2 clients who would want this kind, or who are perfect users for an inventory management system. Some other people might be actually requiring maybe an e-commerce, or going to see, or others might be needing a payroll management system, but there's not necessarily that they need an inventory management system. So if you sell someone a payroll management system and it comes with an inventory management system, might be not ideal, and they might not really require, and they will think that they are paying for something they did not want. So the first one was this client one, Mountain Craft Brewers. There is a company overview. Mountain Craft Brewers is a mid-sized craft brewery company. Mid-sized craft brewery located in Colorado that produces a range of specialized beers. So this is a brewery company founded in this. They currently distribute to local restaurants, bars, and liquor stores across 3 neighboring states. They have production facility with an attached warehouse, a small testing room, administrative offices. Mountain Craft Brewers employ a 35 people across production, sales, and administration. Business needs. As a brewery, Mountain Craft Brewer deals with both raw materials and finished products. They don't sell directly to consumers through an e-commerce, but have wholesale relationships with distributors, restaurants, and retail stores. How they use inventory management system. So products, I broke this so that you understand exactly the modules and how they would apply to a company. Okay, for instance, products. The Mountain Craft Brewers maintains 2 categories of inventory in their system. So already this one shows that products must have some categories, raw materials and finished products. And you can see in each of the raw materials they have each products, and in each category they have each product here. Then warehouse management. The brewery has divided their warehouse into specific zones: the raw material storage, packaging material storage, finished product storage, and distribution storage. And stock adjustments. I talked about all the features, so I want you to take your time and go through this documentation. It is breaking down all the features of inventory management system, but this time it is in a company setting, how these features are used by a company, so that you understand that if you add in extra features, if you're adding features, they must be correlating. And I talked about all these: sales management, sales orders, sales quotes, invoicing, purchase management, purchase orders, purchase quotes. This might actually help you understand different terminologies that are used within the inventory management system. So if you just go down here on reporting and analytics, you see what do they want, for instance, in reporting, so that you don't actually even start like putting a lot of stuff, okay, a lot of stuff that are not really required. So if you just look at, they want to know inventory evaluation report, sales analysis report, supplier performance report, inventory turnover reports, forecasting reports, and you focus on the ones. Additional features, blah blah. So I added all these ones, okay. They might also need user roles and permissions, and this is going to prompt on which what are we going to build and what we need, the exact features we need in the system. So for instance, they want user roles and permissions. Different team members have specific access levels. For instance, brewers can view and update recipes and production information. Warehouse staff managers, they manage inventory location and fulfillment. Sales team managers and owners. So you can see we need to have roles and permissions into this kind of system. I also gave you the second client, who is Green Thumb Garden Supply. Also read onto this one, and this one is actually in the business needs. You will see that they actually need an e-commerce. Green Thumb operates both brick and mortar retail locations and an e-commerce website. They also provide wholesale suppliers to local landscaping companies and manage season inventory fluctuations. Their diverse product range include perishable items and blah blah. So I also took this case study. I looked for two case studies, one with e-commerce, one without the e-commerce, and you would understand how inventory management would really be applied in a company setting. So I want you to carefully go through these two case studies and understand what are we building, and we're going to base on these two companies, and we build a product that is suitable for these two companies. Okay, and you may find also your company, maybe you want, or if you just say you're working on a project. I know these videos are normally viewed by some company owners or even students who are working on school projects. So this would help you in building a case study and knowing how would this, or how would a typical inventory management system really apply to a company setting. So now if you continue down here, actually I based onto these companies to come up with the features that we are going to implement into the system. So based on the needs of both the Mountain Craft breweries and the Green Thumb Garden Supply companies, we actually came up with the MVP features, the critical for initial launch. So I assumed, for instance, if any of these companies approached you and they want an inventory management system and they want it so badly, and what would be the MVP features that you would first implement, and we're going to focus onto those ones. Okay, so you can see the basic product catalog with categories, inventory tracking, base location support, simple stock adjustments, sales management. I brought this into phases, and you can see phase 2, for instance, post MVP. So the MVP stops here, okay, and you can see we need to have roles and permissions still in that. And phase 2 features, which is post MVP release, we also have other things that we added in, as you can see here. I added all these features for the phase 2 and even phase 3. What you would actually add and how would this one do. Now we might just add up to phase 2, or even phase 3. I'm not so sure, but we're just going to make sure we add in what is most required. Now, as we're going to build it in the 10 episodes, we're just going to jump into the second question. So I hope this documentation helps you so much to understand what we are building. And that was the first question of what are we building. The second question is how are we building it and which tech stack are we choosing to build this? Now this is really important on how we are going to build it, because it's going to base on so many things. So let's start with the how are we building this. So I also just in the same documentation, this very one, I just want you to scroll down. I'm just going to get this. So when you scroll down, it has this implementation strategy, I believe. Let me see. I think must be this. Let me just go scroll down. Okay, so this part here, which has building a scalable inventory management system, is the one that's going to be answering what are we building and how are we building it. Let's start with the overall how we are going to build this. So we are building our inventory management system with a clear separation between the front end and back end to ensure maximum scalability and flexibility as our user base grows. Now, normally what happens is I've seen most of the videos, and that's how my videos are really different. I look at scalability and also look at being realistic to a person who's going to use the software. So for example, we're going to use Next.js, we're going to see, but like in the future, you look at these companies we looked at. If a company is using like an inventory management system, eventually the system is going to become really big, and you have to think about the approach of scaling, and things can actually get out of hand. And basically, normally what is going to be changing basically is going to be the backend, okay, the API. That's why we're having a separate concern between the front end and the back end. You know, the front end can actually remain the same, because if you're just like building like as you can see the WhatsApp interface, like the interface for WhatsApp is really not that huge. Like they don't have like multiple pages. They have a couple pages, like maybe 20 pages, I may say. But if you look at the backend is going to be scaling like at really large scale. So the reason why you need to separate your front end and the back end is to really make sure that you are having scalability in mind. For instance, in the future, as you're going to see here, so I'm just going to look at let's start with the front end, the UI layer. So in the front end, we're going to use Next.js. Okay, so in the front end, we're going to use Next.js with TypeScript and Tailwind CSS with all these nice things. In fact, we might also implement and use React query for fetching things faster. We're going to use the zoo stand. So all those things, of course, they just like add here. You don't have to actually just like add them like here. They all fall under the front end layer, which is going to be Next.js and all the things that go with Next.js. Okay, which is going to be responsible for the user interface interaction experience, communicates exclusively through API calls to the backend. Okay, and of course we're using it because of the modular component architecture for reusability, and Next.js is right now becoming the standard for the front end, really, for every application. As you can see, OpenAI, Shopify, and all these companies, they're using Next.js for the front end. So Next.js is becoming a standard for the front end, and you can use any backend you want. Now, when it comes to the backend, that's where the scalability actually applies. And that's why we are thinking of using the API architecture in the first place, because the API architecture helps us understand and say that in the future, if we are going to use, for instance, Node.js Encore or Java or Django or Laravel, then we can simply just replace the API we want. We build any API in any language and we plug it in and simply works. So the backend, which is the API layer. So the good thing is, if a client wants an MVP, and this is for even the students, if a client wants an MVP, you would want this product to be really developed very fast. Okay, so in the initial implementation, I'm just going to use Next.js API routes, but and I'm leaving this one for the people who want to scale this. Now, as a person who have been using Next.js for a very long time and very expert in this really field of Next.js, I understand that the limitations of Next.js when it comes to scaling. When you start scaling and you have, like, for instance, more than 1,000 products or even like 500 products on your system, you might actually start thinking of building a Node.js API or even a Python API using Django or Java using Spring Boot, Laravel, or Encore. And that's why I'm putting these feature options. And actually, this product, I want to build it so good that we want to continue and build it on different backends. Okay, this might not be made a video for. In this whole system implementation, we are going to use Next.js API routes. But in the future, if you want to scale this product and you are really into this product and you are serious about it, you can now contact us. In fact, on our website, we are going to build a very complete landing page for this product, and we are going to have an express backend for it. We are just going to have different backends. And by the way, in the future on my channel, don't be surprised if you see me actually making crash course for Django, crash course for Spring Boot, Laravel, and even Encore. I'm trying to give, and because I'm just aiming at scaling and efficiency and optimization, and not Next.js, what I realized at this point is really good for building MVPs, prototypes, and small scale startups. But when a product is scaling and it is just like becoming bigger and bigger, then you need to have a server based backend, for instance, Express, Python, Java. And by the way, the ones I've put here, the way you are seeing here, this is going to be our tech stack. We want really to become good into this, me and my team. I'm having a serious dedicated team onto this. So far, we are only 5. If you just quickly to show you, we are only 5 team member. Are we 5 or 6? Just like about 6. If you just come here on our this, you can just check on our developer team. Right now, currently, we just like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and me with the CEO, the 6th person. So better you can check out these guys. You look at their portfolios and what they have built. It's really nice team, and I love it. So we are dedicated to actually master these backends. Node.js, which is going to be Express, Django, Spring Boot, Laravel, and Encore. And you may be asking, how are you going to really master this? It's just about you and just like a choice. But eventually, we need to be really masters in any in some of these. And most of our products we are going to be releasing, they will be having different backends, and this is to target different clients who want different performances, and they of course will come with a different price. So this is the architecture we are choosing. The REST API, of course, and then as you can see here, approaches and rationale. API first architecture, we are taking an API first approach, meaning all the system functionalities will be exposed through a well-documented standards API that provides several advantages. You can just go ahead and look at this: multiple clients, incremental development, backend interchangeability. This was the first one actually. By keeping a strict separation between the front end and the back end, we can replace and upgrade the backend technology without disrupting the user interface or user experience. Sometimes you want to switch to let's say Laravel, and you realize that how you had built your product was really coupled. You find that you had a very coupled product and it becomes really hard to migrate. But with the API, it is very easy to migrate a new API built using a different backend. Then multiple clients, of course, this. It is very easy in future when you want to bring in a mobile app for your inventory management. To be very easy and incrementally while you can test different parts of the system independently. And with the API, you can even do microservice. Okay, for instance, you can just say sales are going to be on a different API like that. Okay, starting with the Next.js API routes. For our MVP phase, we're using API routes for our backend because of rapid development, simplified deployment, production ready, and easier debugging. Then preparation for the backend migration. From day one, we'll implement practices that will facilitate later migration to a dedicated backend. So just going to use a clean service layer. Business logic we leave in separate service modules and not directly in the API route. So just going to be interacting with the API. We're going to be having this layer here, okay, a separate service modules which directly in the API route is going to interact with this. So what we're just going to do, we're going to use server actions to build our service layer. And so your application communicates via the server actions. Server actions communicate with the API. So in the future, when you remove the APIs and you put, for instance, node.js, node.js or Python, it still actually, you do not need to change any single line of code. You don't need to. Okay, so that's why we just are going to use this service layer architecture. Then the domain-driven design, organizing code around business domain rather than the technical concerns. Then the infrastructure abstractions, database access, and external services will be accessed through abstraction layers and all this. So I'll put just really this long-term scaling strategy with the microservice thinking architecture and all these ones. So you can just go ahead and also read this. Is still in the same documentation. So this answers the question of how are we building it and the tech stack. Okay, I hope Nathan was very clear. Now the next thing is, who is this course for? Normally, as you know me, I really bring in really massive projects, and at some point they really look scary. And the fact is, the people on internet and YouTube at large, most people, if you just go and search in, for instance, inventory management system, you can just go and search even the existing ones right now. You can just type in here inventory management system. They will still bring also this one, but even in those ones, you'll find this one is really massive compared to all that existing ones. Okay, so now I'm just, of course, even taking it the game even to the next level, to build it more further and make it really advanced. So this is going to be really an advanced inventory management system, and you're just going to be having long hours of coding. And by the way, another thing I didn't talk about maybe in how we are going to build it, maybe I'm just going to talk about it here in a second, on how we are going to build it in a second. I think I'll just build it here under what costs. So normally what my courses are always good for are people who are intermediate, really people who are extreme beginners. I really went ahead and I made this video. I don't know if I can just go on my channel here. I built this building a secure Next.js customization. There is this video I made. This video here. Before you start really going to watch my videos, I really want you to go ahead and watch this video. My videos, I always make the ones for beginners where I don't use AI, code from first principles. I went ahead and made this video specifically for this year. Okay, I made this video, and this video was specifically to take you into full stack. I covered in details what you need to cover from the beginning, and then I added the second episode. The first one was 8 hours. I added one more video, which is here, I guess, also this one, where we talked about building a secure authentication system from scratch. I added this one where we have everything. So I really try to make sure that the beginners, you go ahead. So I'm just going to make sure before you start following this video, you are very comfortable building with Next.js, at least, because the concept you're going to be using, they're going to be Next.js and even beyond. We are looking at roles and permissions. We are looking at, some concepts which are really advanced, and we're not even starting from scratch to say we are starting with some starter kit. So you really need to be knowing some concepts already. So we're not going to say this is how normally others say this is for absolute beginners. This is not for absolute beginners. If you're a beginner, I recommend you watch my 2 videos before you start. I might remember or forget to include these ones in the description, but the first one is this one. Next.js full stack development 2025 complete 8 hours. I started from absolute scratch, explained all the concepts you need, and then I added the second one, and in this we build an e-commerce, and I added this second one. So go ahead and watch those 2 episodes before you start this one. Okay, so I think that is very clear of who this course is for. This is for people who are intermediate and advanced or senior developers who really want to build a SaaS app, like a really serious SaaS application that you can show to your possible employers. And we might also add in AI as we move on. Okay, now the first, which is going to be last before this video ends, what costs are involved. Now, to answer what costs are involved is going to be all about what is going to be our starting point. So there are 2 actually costs that are involved that you might or might not face. Okay, it's something which is going to be really optional. Now, as I said, this is going to be built in 10 episodes. You can imagine the last one we built was in 16 episodes, and the features were not as advanced as this one. If you look at this application, normally I really get so much disappointed by the people who want really so many features in the application, but then they are asking how many episodes, because if you check on all my videos, you will see the most asked question is how many episodes are remaining, how far are we going, this is taking so long, and so on and so forth. But we are, for instance, cloning Zoho. Okay, you are cloning something like a Zoho system, which is just like this one. So if you, for sure, if you just like cloning Zoho, in your thinking, you are thinking that Zoho was built like in 3 hours or in 10 episodes. No. Okay, this can be a product that took them months, if not a year, with even a couple of developers to make sure that everything is working the way it is. Okay, so as a single-handed person putting on all these features, it is expected that the app can take so long. Okay, that's why the episodes tend to be big, because this is actually realistic and we're building an actual production grade application. But most people want the episodes to be short, at the same time to have more features, at the same time to be really short. Now, solve this problem is to make sure that the repeated tasks, you do not repeat them. That is one strategy. We do not repeat what we have been doing in our previous builds. That is 1. 2 is using AI. So I will be, first of all, we are going to start using a starter kit. Okay, and if you watched my video about I launched a starter kit, this one, I don't know why people didn't watch this video so much. You might need to go ahead and watch this video also before maybe you know what this starter kit is all about and everything. You might just need to go and watch this starter kit. Now, normally when things are involving in money, okay, people really get cold feet, and I understand people don't want spend, but they want really good thing. The problem is that, as I normally say, you have seen on my videos on YouTube, things which take about a couple of hours, 8 hours, as you have seen in these builds that I was showing you here. These are just like the builds of 8 hours. Like this one was 7 hours and 29 minutes. This one was 8 hours and 8 hours. And these are free videos, right? I'm not a person who really likes putting price on my videos. I want people to absolutely learn and learn for free. I'm the person who is that. Like, I really want people to learn for free, and they do things for free. Now, the problem is when we start really building things that cost money. Okay, for instance, you are building an enterprise solution application like this one, and you want it to be really short. So I need to use the tools that I normally use for actual work. So when I say tools which I use for actual work, I want to give you an example that I launched a new product, which is WeSendAll.com. I launched this product in a few days ago, and this product is for sending messages. It's for sending bulk SMSs and bulk emails, and so on and so forth. Okay, and I launched this, but this application I actually built it within a few couple of weeks, not weeks, days. In 2 days, I had this product that is really working so well. You get, I had this and I was using the actual tools for the job I normally use at work, and that is using the functionality that I have already implemented. I don't implement them again. I simply use different tools to make sure that I get this one done. And I did this in a few days, about like 2 days. I had this product running and everything working so fine. So now, when I'm telling you is that if you just need to build a software like this one, we might need to start getting into things that I use at work. And the first thing I use at work is a starter kit. And I went ahead and I built these starter kits specifically for this kind of applications. When you have an application like this one, where you have a huge amount of tons of features that you want to implement, you cannot afford to start building everything from scratch. You will take really months building this. But if, for instance, authentication, some of these things are already working, it gives you ability to start working on the most important things and adding in the missing pieces. That is the first thing. I use starter kits built by me, by the way. And then the next one I use is AI. So the things that that instead of requesting time on something that you build using AI, like for instance designing this card here, I don't think that building this card, like this sales activity, these 4 cards that we are seeing them here, that this is really very big important, unless you're a beginner. And if you're a beginner, you're not here. We are saying people who are here are intermediate and they already know Tailwind, they already know some things, how to build this with Flex and Grid and everything. So I already know how to build this if I wanted to, but AI would do this in 2 minutes or like maybe within 30 seconds. And then I focus on, for instance, implementing the hard parts of the API and putting those things together, everything together. The AI itself cannot build this whole entire application. I'm very sure if you have been using AI, you know what it's capable right now. It cannot build an application, all of it, at its on its own like this one, but using AI, you can build it. So I will going to also be using AI and also showing you how I use prompt. The difference is that every code that we are going to be generating with AI, I will be putting it in a documentation where you can access it and simply plug it in and continue. And this is going to help us move so fast so that we can finish this in the 10 episodes I talked about. And we might just like fail to make this mission, I don't know, but I'm just going to try my level best to keep it under this. Now, the next thing, the next cost is going to be if you want to access the source code. So the previous one, if you just go to our the previous cost of this, if I just go here, I can show you the previous cost for this application that we had built, the inventory management system. If you scroll down here, the inventory management system is here, and here is still telling you it was $16. And the reason why it was 16, it was having some features which are missing, and it's also having some was made in TypeScript, in JavaScript and all that. Now with this new one, which is going to be really advanced, if you want to access this the source code, is going to start I think from 100, or like I don't know, I haven't really come up with a concrete price, but I'm very sure it's going to start from $100 and above. It might be like 200 or 100 and above. And this is to show you how valuable this is when it comes in terms of building, because we are going to use a starter kit which is already having tons of features, and we're adding more tons of features to this, and it's software you can sell. You can imagine how much if you ask Zoho team to build you another inventory management system like Zoho. This would be a 10,000 product plus. But so when I say $100, you take it or leave it. I have no problem for sure, because I really put a lot of soul into this to come to life, really. And that is like optional, of course. Getting source code is optional because you're going to be coding this live here on YouTube. But then the only cost you might incur, which is going to be the starter kit, because the starter kit comes with really fully packed features. And now, as I said, we have 3 versions of the starter kit. There is this one. I'm just going to log in into this one. That is, if I remember the credentials. So there is this starter kit here that I launched. This one I launched it within this video I made here a weeks, I think 12 days ago. I launched this one here. Now this one is the smaller one. It has all you need, and by the way, you may think that this one is very small. I used this one to build this application. If you just look at this, they have a very big relationship, right? So you may just say, like this one is maybe small or what, but I used this one to build this we send or app. So it is like a really huge starter kit. But for the one we need in this case, so there is this one. This is the one which is having the typed rows. I explained this in the starter kit. If you want to understand the difference for these starter kits, please go ahead and watch this video here. I am explaining in details these starter kits and how they are going to be released. They will even extend to Laravel, Django, Java. So I explained everything in this video here. You might need to watch it because it is very important of knowing what you are getting from this. So there is this this one, the starter one, the simple auth one, and then there is this advanced one. So this is the one we are going to use this is the one we are going to use when it comes to the inventory management system. So this is the advanced one. If you look at this, has a very big difference with this one. Okay, you might not notice the difference maybe right away, but of course if you look at the dashboard, already it has a different change. If you look at the sidebars, they are different. This one has this here like this already. It comes with this nice thing here like this. It comes of course with this stats, export Excel, everything like this, you know. So it comes when it is really advanced, and one of the things that are really advanced into this one is because it has actual roles. So if you just go here, you see we have the users, and then we have the roles. So you can add a role already look at this. This is like a really advanced feature that you might take like really weeks trying to even know how you can implement this. Okay, and we're having this going to be already implemented into this starter kit. So we are starting with whereby a person can create roles, because you saw in this documentation that one of the features you need to add into this one is the user roles. These organizations, they have users at different roles, and they would really want to use different roles. So we're just going to use this one, which already comes with roles for different pages. So all the pages you're seeing on the sidebar here, automatically you can control exactly what a user can see. Okay, that's why I implemented this one. It was really killing me looking for ways of how to have this feature in my starter kit. It is really hard to implement, but I have this one working because it's always just like in a like the Laravel and everything. And by the way, this starter kit, as I said, it might also, will release this one also for Laravel, for Django, for different. If you watch this video, I talked about all the feature of this starter kits here. Now, the cost for this starter kit, if I just go here on the live website, down here on the pricing, so this comes at $100. Now I know already how you're feeling. I understand for this specific, because as I've said, this I am very sure I want people to, since this is a tutorial on YouTube and I want people to follow this one, I'm just going to go ahead and put it at only $30. I'm also going to put any link anywhere. It's going to be only in the description of these videos we are going to work on. It is going to be at $30, and it is really so much like hurting to take it at 30, because it took me really time to add in all the features that are into this starter kit. But the fact this is a tutorial and I want to make it as minimum as possible, so the only investment you need to make is only $30. And if you want to anyways, so you can just like if you can have these features, like you build them by yourself, go ahead and maybe like build them somewhere, or you watch any other video and you have this starting point where you have like a dashboard like this one, and then like you have like this the users functionality already having working, the profile and everything working. You might not need to implement this really. You don't need to buy this one. But for the purposes of fast development, to meet this thing of 10 days, 10 episodes, I will need to use the tools I use at the job, and that's why I built these tools for myself to be able to use. Now, a tool of $100, I'm cutting it to $30 so that you can use it for this tutorial. I will not put that link anywhere on the website or anywhere. It will be only in the description of these videos. Okay, so I think at this point you understand the costs that are going to be involved into this. Okay, the costs are going to be involved into this is going to be that you only need that $30. That's it. The source code is going to, you don't need to have the source code, because at the end of the day you're going to be building this together, so you don't have to access the source code. But if you want, of course, exclusively, then, and by the way, those ones are going to get the source code, you are added in the repository itself. You are added inside the repository. The same thing with the starter kit, you are going to be added in the repository. I will add a link. When you click it, it will take you to Gumroad. After buying, you'll find there a link. Well, after you click on that link, you report your GitHub username, you report your email you have signed up on Gumroad. I will of course put the instructions very well on the Gumroad. After you have purchased, you will get and add your GitHub, and automatically you'll be added in the starter kit repo where you can do everything you want. Okay, so that's the video answering these 4 questions. Thank you so much for watching. This one is going to be our first or episode 0. In the next episode, we are diving into really coding and we're going to look at seeding and all those nice things that we have to do. We're going to start with seeding right away, so that we prepare the data and we build reverse engineer the whole entire application. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode.